Rosemary Clooney, here's a song that was written by, well, I'll tell you in a minute. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you apple and a plum and an apricot too. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you figs and dates and grapes and cakes. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you everything. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you Christmas tree. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you a marriage ring and a pomegranate too. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you a peach and a pear and a love of your hair. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, come on. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you Easter egg. Come on to my house, I'm gonna give you everything, everything, everything. Come on to my house. All right, that song was a big hit for Rosemary Clooney in 1951. And the story goes that she was recording for Columbia Records, and she did not want to have anything to do with that song. Mitch Miller was the head of A&R at the time, and he really insisted that she sang the song. She went into the studio and said, I'm not feeling it. I don't want to sing the song. And he said, well, you know, if you don't sing the song, you're fired. So she sang the song. And she said in later years when she heard the recording, she got all choked up. In later years, when she heard the recording, she could hear the anger kind of cutting through in her voice. She definitely did not want to be there. The song was written by Ross Bagdasarian and his cousin, Pulitzer Prize-winning author William Saroyan. Now, how's that for trivia? Probably the only song that William Saroyan ever wrote. They wrote it in 1939 when they were on a car trip through New Mexico. And nothing really ever happened with it. It was put in a Broadway show that was kind of a flop in 1950. And then in 1951, Rosemary Clooney begrudgingly recorded it. And it became a big, big hit. And she was stuck with it for the rest of her life, for better or for worse. But it's kind of a fun song because it's got that harpsichord in it. It's called the, what is it called? The Normandy 5? No, someone's going to tell me who's watching. The something 5. It's not Normandy. It's the Winchester 5. You know what? Can't remember. Someone's going to write it in the comments. Gramercy. The Gramercy 5. That's what it was. Anyway, good evening. Welcome to Billy's Place. Thanks for sticking around. I think we're all good now with the technical stuff. Always something. You know, we're doing it all ourselves. You know, well, Doug is working very hard. And we do checks before the show, and everything's like, sounds good to me, sounds good to me. And then, you know, we start, and who knows what can happen. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad to be here after almost 3 weeks away. If you're just joining us, it's Billy's Place, episode 61, Rosemary Clooney. Before we go any further, I want to remind you to share this show at the bottom of your screen on Facebook. Just hit the share button so that it goes to all your Facebook friends, and then we get a lot of people watching, and I love that. Also, the shows get uploaded to my YouTube channel, Billy Stritch, so when you get a moment, subscribe to that. That would be great. And also, please follow me on Instagram, because I post a lot of, I think, fun things on Instagram. It's Billy Stritch on Instagram, and you can follow me there. And I'm always promoting new gigs and also putting fun pictures from my career and just what I'm up to. So please take a minute and go to Instagram and follow Billy Stritch. Also, if you can possibly spare a little money to tip us, obviously we need help. You could send money to us via PayPal or Venmo, and it's all really, really appreciated. It helps us keep on top of the equipment. Obviously, we need to get some new cords, so I think that's so anything you send will really be appreciated. It's longtime Billy's Place viewer, Bill Griggs. It's his birthday. Bill, it's your 70th birthday tonight. Bill and his partner Ernie spent the last 3 weeks traveling the country. They actually watched the last episode that we did late in August from their compartment on a train going through Montana, which I thought was just so romantic and glamorous. They actually had Wi-Fi, and they watched the last show we did, which was the Ladies of Country Music, and wrote to us during that. Then they went to Seattle all the way down the coast, and he wrote me the other day they just got home exhausted but had a great trip. So happy birthday to you, Bill, and many, many more. Also, I want to do a shout out to a legendary performer who Doug and I actually knew. We met her at a few parties over the years, and she was quite formidable, but quite the star. And once you knew her, she was very friendly. She could be a little scary at first, but she was great. Her name's Lauren Bacall, and today is her birthday. And you know, Lauren Bacall was really famous in later years for, I first saw her do a show, the very first trip I came to New York, she was appearing in a show called Woman of the Year. And it was one of the shows that I saw on that very first trip to New York 40 years ago, 1981. And she was so fantastic on stage. And then I met her years later. And of course, we all grew up with her commercials for High Point Coffee. You know, it would start with like, you know, running late 8 o'clock curtain, running through an 8 o'clock curtain. You know, coffee, but it's decaffeinated. So I ran across this clip, which I thought was really kind of funny, and we'd like to share it with you tonight.
We don't like coffee, we love it. Mm. 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 I think you'll really go for it.
Makes me laugh. It really does. I love that. This is a glass of rosé in honor of Rosemary Clooney. And, oh God, she had a television show in 1956. And this was how the show started. The evening breeze caressed the trees tenderly. The trembling trees embraced the breeze tenderly. The Rosemary Clooney Show, with four guys called the High-Lows, Nelson Riddle and his orchestra. And here's our star, Rosemary Clooney. And then she would sing a great song like this. The evening breeze caressed the trees tenderly. The trembling trees embraced the breeze tenderly. Then you and I came wandering by, and lost in a sigh were we. The shore was kissed by sea and mist tenderly. I can't forget how two hearts met breathlessly. Your arms opened wide and closed me inside. You took my lips, you took my love so tenderly. Then you and I came wandering by and lost in a sigh were we. The shore was kissed by sea and mist tenderly. I can't forget how two hearts met breathlessly. Your arms opened wide and closed me inside. You took my lips, you took my love so tender. Such a pretty song. I've known that song for so long. It was actually one of the songs that I played. I think I must have been 12 or 13, one of my recital pieces. And I learned it years ago. It's such a beautiful melody. It started as a melody. It was written by Walter Gross, and the lyrics were added later by Jack Lawrence. But the backstory to it is that Walter Gross, when he wrote this song in 1946, when he wrote the melody, he was dating Margaret Whiting at the time and very enamored of beautiful young Margaret Whiting. And he showed up at her door, I mean, just like out of a movie, and said, "I've written this song. You've inspired this song." And he played that gorgeous melody before it had lyrics. And so Margaret Whiting, who I also knew, who was just so great, inspired that great melody. Lyrics were added later by Jack Lawrence. Rosie Clooney recorded it in 1952. And if you're an old movie buff, in 1953, it was used in the title credits for a very campy Joan Crawford film called Torch Song. What? And ruin that line? Anyway, so tenderly. And it's been covered by everybody. It's a great, great song. The first time I think I ever saw Rosemary Clooney was on TV when I was a little kid at Christmas time when they played White Christmas. And I loved that film then, and it's still my favorite holiday movie now. But I love this scene where she splits off, leaves, she's Betty Haynes. She leaves her sister, Judy Haynes, to go off to New York because there's been a big misunderstanding. She and Bing Crosby didn't work. You know the film, right? And so he goes to the Carousel Club in New York to try to find her and bring her back to Vermont. And she sings this great song. Obviously, this song was written for a man, but, that never stopped me before. Great song by Irving Berlin. Wonderful torch song. Rosemary Clooney at her most voluptuous and sultry. Love, you didn't do right by me. You planned a romance that just hadn't a chance, and I'm through. Love, you didn't do right by me. shelf, and I'm blaming myself, but it's you. My one love affair didn't get anywhere from the start. To send me a Joe who had winter and snow in his heart wasn't smart, love. You didn't do right by me, as they say in the song. You done me wrong. My one love affair didn't get anywhere from the start. To send me a Joe who had winter and snow in his heart wasn't smart, love. You didn't do right by me, as they say in the song. You done me wrong. Yes, Mr. Love, you done me wrong. Great song, great scene. She's on the stage and she's got those 4 chorus boys behind her, all in black. Everyone's in black. And at one point, one comes up and she's on his shoulder, and it's George Takiris, who a few years later won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for playing Bernardo in West Side Story. Got that black hair, you know. It's like these guys, it was such a great 50s number. At any rate, you know, Rosemary Clooney, one of my favorites. She was born in 1928, May 23rd, in Maysville, Kentucky. And, you know, she had a famous brother, Nick Clooney, who we all know. He was a TV host, and he was very famous in his own right, not the least of which is he's the father of George Clooney. And then she had a sister named Betty Clooney, and for a long time, she and her sister Betty sang together. They had, you know, that great family sound, perfect blend for 2 sisters. And they worked together from the time they were very, very young. And in 1945, they got their own show on WLW radio in Cincinnati, right across the river from where they grew up. And then, you know, she went on the road. Rosemary went on the road with Tony Pastor's orchestra. And somehow, you know, you can read all this, but she made it to L.A. and started recording for, made some great records for Capitol Records. And I'm skipping around a little bit, but she married Jose Ferrer in 1953. And in quick succession, like once a year, they had 5 kids. They had Miguel, Maria, Gabriel, Monsita, and Raphael. And Rosie started doing this TV show in 1956, and the big joke was that, you know, whenever she did TV in that 5-year period, she had to sing in a window, or she had to sing in front of a ledge, or she had to sing in front of behind a couch or something, because she was pregnant the whole time. And obviously, so silly now to think of it, but you really couldn't show that back then. You know, you had to kind of hide that. So she was wearing dark clothes, never turning to the side, and always camouflaged. And if she was singing with another guy or a couple of guys, they would always be in front of her. You know, if you watch some of those shows on YouTube, you can see how artfully they blocked all that so that you can never tell that she's pregnant. Well, she was pregnant for about 5 years nonstop and had 5 kids with the great Academy Award-winning actor Jose Ferrer. Of course, won the Oscar for Cyrano de Bergerac. Is our guest here yet? She's not here yet, right? Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and sing a song. We have a guest, and if you've been following me, you know. Is she here? Oh, fantastic. Great. So I'm going to put her on speakerphone. Hello. Are you there? Oh, my God. Okay, so Rosie Clooney was from Maysfield, Kentucky, right? Maysville, Kentucky. And here is one of my favorite friends from Hackensack, New Jersey. Is that true? This is Rosemary Clooney's daughter-in-law, who is Mrs. Gabrielle Ferrer, you better known as Debbie Boone. Hi.
Hi, Billy.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Oh, good. I'm just doing great. I've got this is so low rent. I've just got the phone up next to the microphone on speaker, and I'm hoping that everybody can hear you. God, I haven't seen you in quite a few years.
Way too long.
It's been way too long. I feel like the last time was at Vitello's in L.A., before the pandemic started.
Right.
Certainly.
I think you're right.
Yeah. How's life been treating you the past 18 months? Have you been surviving?
Yes, I cannot complain. I've had it a lot better than a lot of people.
Sure.
And thank God the whole family is healthy and well. A couple of people got COVID, but not too badly. And getting ready to have a new grandbaby any day now.
Wow.
So life is good.
This will make how many for you now?
4.
This will be your 4th.
4.
You know what? I can't even believe it because you're so youthful and so young. So it's true. It's absolutely true. We worked together, you and I, several times at the 92nd Street Y, and the last time was in 2016 when I did a Cy Coleman show. And I posted that great, remember we had our picture in the New York Times, and I posted that on Facebook.
I saw it on Instagram today.
Yeah.
I love that picture.
I put it there. So does everybody. It was great. So anyway, I want to get to the subject at hand. Darling Rosemary, who I know was the light of your life and so many people. Had you met her before you met Gabrielle? I mean, were you aware of her? Did your paths ever cross? Or, uh-oh, I just lost her. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm calling her back. This is hilarious, right? Okay. Recent. Ba-dum. Let's see if this works. Live TV. I have no idea. But you're back. I called you back, and there you are. I mean, we've got all sorts of gremlins tonight in the machine. We had mic troubles, but I've got you back. So did you know Rosemary before you married into the family at all, or not?
Well, only because I was dating 2 of her sons.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Okay, so, sure.
I started with Miguel briefly, who was a great guy, but we were not suited to each other.
Right.
And about a year later, I started dating his younger brother, Gabriel, who I ended up marrying, of course, and now 42 years later.
Wow.
But I met Rosemary through them. I had not known her prior to dating her boys.
Right. But she took you right in, I'm sure. She must have really loved you from the start, I would imagine.
Well, I have often said there was just nothing like, being in Rosemary's good graces. It was just like the warmth of the sun, and you just felt like you were in Antarctica if for some reason you weren't there anymore. And it was a rare occasion that that I might have stepped out of her graces, and I probably deserved it. But most of the time, she was just the warmest, most loving, adoring person, and I would often say the best grandmother that ever lived. I mean, my kids got so much good loving from their grandmother that I'm just so grateful for that.
Isn't that lovely? I mean, I imagine she had such a strong personality. I'd imagine that if you were not in her, you could get frozen out, but it would probably take a lot. But that's probably only because she loved her kids so much. So it's like you had to, she's just being mother hen, I guess, right?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story
please,
if you don't mind.
Not at all.
Which is when we did our Christmas concert together, which is really how I got to work with her for several years in such a master class and being able to share the stage and watch her work. But if you are the caliber of entertainer that Rosemary was, you have a strong personality, and you also command the stage. And so she involved me in the show, and we brought the kids in the act, and my youngest daughter, Tessa, was 3 years old when she joined the Christmas show. And the end big finale is always White Christmas.
Sure.
And Tessa started mouthing the words to the song while Rosemary was singing it and pulled focus on the
Ooh.
stage.
Yeah.
So all the audience was pointing and laughing at my kid who's mouthing the words while Rosemary's trying to sing her practically signature song.
Sure.
And she was not happy about it. And she told Gabri, my husband, she said, I want to talk to Tessa on the bus after the show. That's not going to happen again.
Wow.
And I said to Gabri, she's going to have to go through me. If she's going to do, she has to go over my dead body before I'm going to let her talk to Tessa about that.
Yeah, you would monitor that conversation, I would think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but
you know,
I mean, once a performer.
She done it,
yeah.
But she was 3.
Of course, she was 3. But it's like that old adage: don't work with children or animals. You know, it's
there
like,
you go.
And she was 3, and Rosie was like being upstaged by a cute little kid, and I'm sure that did not make her happy.
Rosemary called her Eve Harrington from then on.
Hilarious. She was funny, Rosemary. I did not know her well, but I was with her a couple times with Liza. She had that same kind of just caustic, sarcastic. I mean, she really got it. When you were really kind of sitting down with her and just hanging, she was funny and kind of a wicked wit, as I recall. But
totally.
Yeah.
I actually, my favorite thing in the world is if I could make her laugh. That really felt like success to me. We loved to watch award shows together and be sarcastic and make each other laugh.
Of course. I can only imagine. And I mean, the satisfaction to make someone like that laugh is like, it's golden. It's just fantastic. Yeah. I love that. And I know that, a few years after she passed away, you recorded this wonderful album of hers called Reflections of Rosemary, which I love, and I encourage everyone to download or, find however they can. What I loved about it is it's not like typical hit songs. It's songs she recorded, but they have more of a personal feeling, I feel like. Yeah. I mean, can you tell us just a little? I mean, of course, it was our beloved John Otto, who we could talk about in a second, too, of course. But yeah. I love the tunes on that. That must have been a real labor of love.
It absolutely was. I've often referred to it that way. And, I was thankful that Concord Jazz, the execs from that label, when they asked if I would do it, wanted me to pick songs that I could tell personal stories, that sort of would lead into personal stories.
Sure.
Instead of re-recording her hits, which I never would have done. I would have been way too intimidated to try something like that. And Bette Midler had kind of done it and done it really well.
Right, I remember. Yep.
So this was something only I could do, which made it much more interesting. It was tell the personal stories from a family perspective with songs and oftentimes either arrangements that she already had or arrangements done by her musical director, John Otto, and that made it that much more personal.
Right. I mean, I just love the album. As I said, I encourage everybody to check it out. And, of course, John Otto's brilliance is all over it. I mean, that's when I first met John, was when he was musical directing for Rosemary. And for those of you who don't know, I mean, he was brilliant, and he was sadly taken from us, about 2 or 3 years ago now, Debbie?
Yeah. Over 2,
at a young, like age 62 or 63, something like that. But after Rosemary died, you kind of inherited him, which was so wonderful because it was a way to keep that whole family connection alive. It was a brilliant combination of you and John, I thought. It was such a
gift to me.
Yeah.
I mean, really a gift. And I think John made me better in so many ways, and I just can't believe how deeply I feel the loss of him in my life, but at the same time the gratitude of everything he gave me in the years we worked together. Yeah,
I don't think you're alone in feeling what he gave. He gave so many people so much, and he's so missed. He did those great shows at 92Y, but he worked with so many wonderful people, and I know one of our mutual friends, Larry Kirchner, is watching, and they were very close. We talk about Tex all the time. I mean, we talk about John all the time, and it's just someone who he made a mark. We wish he were still here, but boy, he's just somebody who'll live with us forever. I think it's just great.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
the legacy of the charts that he's written for so many people will live on,
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
I just want so many more people to be exposed to what he was able to accomplish in his life, because there aren't that many people that arrange with that kind of emotional intelligence that he had.
that's absolutely right. I agree with that 100%. Well, this we could talk and talk and talk about this, but I've got some more songs I want to get to. But I just love the fact that I got in touch with Debbie last night. Doug said, "Why don't we see if Debbie can join?" So I wrote you, and it's like you wrote back and said, "Sure, I'm there." And it's just great to get a little insight into your relationship with Rosemary, and just to hear your sweet voice, Debbie. It's just wonderful, just
Billy,
fantastic.
it's so nice to hear your voice. I
Yeah.
love you and miss you.
I'm heading out there late November, so hopefully we'll see each other at some point before
Yay.
too much longer.
Let's do our best.
All right. Doug says Hasta Mañana because he knows every song you ever
Till we
did.
meet again.
That's the flip side of You Light Up My Life, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, of course. Hasta Mañana, till we meet again. I adore you. My love to Gabri and everybody. Okay, please.
Well, love to both you and Doug.
Okay.
And thank you for having me today.
Oh, you're
Tonight.
just the best. I'm so thrilled. All right, we'll talk soon, sweetheart. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Great. Bye-bye.
Debbie Boone, everybody. How fabulous is that? She is such a great person. I wanted to mention before I go on, my own personal first encounter with Rosemary Clooney was when I was working with my vocal group called Montgomery, Plant, and Stritch in the 80s. That's when we really were working a lot. And we did regular engagements here in New York at the Algonquin Hotel Oak Room. And I think it was during one of these engagements, probably 87, 88, our manager got a call finding out if we could sing something like that night. It may have been our night off, I'm not sure, but anyway, we worked it out. Rosemary Clooney was supposed to sing at an event, a private event for like 500 people at the Pierre Hotel in that beautiful, beautiful ballroom. And she woke up that morning with laryngitis, had no voice. And so they were scrambling to figure out who could take her place. And I forget how somebody said, oh, this group would be great. Anyway, we got called. We went to her suite at the Pierre. She could barely talk, but she graciously met us, thanked us personally for stepping in for her. And then she got dressed as though she was going to work, and she went down with us to the ballroom, and she croaked out her introduction. She showed up, in other words, and introduced us, and really by doing that gave the audience a real seal of approval. And we sang our set, and people loved it. And the next day, we all had huge bouquets of gorgeous flowers in our respective rooms at the Algonquin Hotel. She was classy, classy. I saw her at Rainbow and Stars many times, and like I said, I hung out with her and Liza and her great friend and my great friend Mark Sendroff on several occasions. Anyway, that's my Rosie story. As I said, she was from Maysville, Kentucky. Maysville, I always want to say Maysville, Kentucky. So I'm going to sing these two songs in honor of that. When you see a field where grass is blue and everything looks good to you, you're in Kentucky, sure as you're born. When a million sunbeams light your way, say, come on, stranger, won't you stay? You're in Kentucky, sure as you're born. When the shadows creep, you can go to sleep on a carpet of moonbeams. You can dream your dreams neath the blanket of gleaming stars. If you wake at dawn mid glistening dew, find old Dixie kissing you. You're in Kentucky, sure as you're born. When the shadows creep, you can go to sleep on a carpet of moonbeams. You can dream your dreams neath the blanket of gleaming stars. If you wake at dawn mid glistening dew, find old Dixie kissing you. You're not in Texas, you're not in Memphis, you're in Kentucky, sure as you're born. You're in Kentucky, sure as you're born. That's a song Rosemary Clooney recorded in her prime, and then also later years when she was recording for Concord Records. And both of those versions are fabulous. Here's another song that she also sang. I heard her sing this at Rainbow and Stars, and she recorded it as well. And it really speaks, well, certainly to her Kentucky background, but it really speaks to those of us who have spent time on the road as traveling performers. Written by the great pianist, composer, lyricist, performer Dave Frischberg. 6 p.m., supper time in South Bend, Indiana, and you figure what the hell you can eat in your hotel, so you order up room service on the phone, and you watch the local news and eat alone. You gotta take what little pleasures you can find when you've got sweet Kentucky ham on your mind, on your mind. Nothing but sweet Kentucky ham on your mind. It's 10 p.m. They're rolling up the sidewalk in Milwaukee, and the only place to eat is right across the street. So you sit there with your bowl of navy bean, and you turn the pages of your magazine, and you feel you want to quit while you're behind, 'cause you've got sweet Kentucky ham on your mind, on your mind. Nothing but sweet Kentucky ham on your mind, and you feel like you're forever on the phone. 10:30, let it ring, dial again, same damn thing, and you're really getting hungry for some talk. Grab a shower, take a walk. It's 3 a.m. They're serving up last call in Cincinnati, but it's still a nighttime town if you know your way around, and despite yourself, you find you're wide awake, and you're staring at your scrambled eggs and steak, and you must admit your heart's about to break when you think of what you left behind, and you've got sweet Kentucky ham on your mind, on your mind. Nothing but sweet Kentucky ham on your mind. That's a song I love. Dave Frischberg. What a lyric, right? And the older I get and the more I travel, it's like, you know, I've been in those diners across the street. It's the only place open, and it's like, okay, here I am. But it's just a great song about missing home and missing where you come from. And I encourage you to check out Rosemary Clooney's version of that song. It's imbued with all of that feeling. Billy's Place, episode 61. I'm Billy Stritch if you just joined us. If you're able to send virtual tip, that is so appreciated. You can do it via PayPal and Venmo, and those addresses are on the screen. If you don't want to do an app like that, you can write me on the Facebook Messenger app. Well, that's an app. But you can write me and request an address, and I will send you an address, and you can mail me a check. That works as well. So we're going to move right on. You know, she had that big hit with Come On to My House, which was written by William Saroyan, of all people. And so Mitch Miller, you know, while she had great things to record, you know, the early to mid 50s was all those novelty songs. And so he was always looking for the next big novelty song to captivate the public. So she did a few. She did This Old House, which is not really a novelty song, but, you know, it's kind of different than a love song. And she did Botcha Me, a Botcha, and everyone goes crazy. I'm not going to sing that. But she sang this one. This song was written by Bob Merrill in 1954. Now, he also wrote How Much Is That Doggy in the Window? And he also wrote If I Knew You Were Coming, I'd have baked a cake. Okay, so he was good at the novelty songs. But then he went on and wrote great Broadway musicals like Carnival and Funny Girl. So he certainly could work both ends of that. Anyway, this is a big hit in 1954 for Rosemary Clooney. A girl went back to Napoli because she missed the scenery, the native dances and the charming songs. But wait a minute, something's wrong. Hey, Mambo, Mambo Italiano. Hey, Mambo, Mambo Italiano. Go, go, go. You mixed up Siciliano. Oh, you Calabrese. Do the mambo like a crazy with a hey, Mambo. Don't want a tarantella. Hey, Mambo. No more the mozzarella. Hey, Mambo, Mambo Italiano. Try an enchilada with the fish of bacala and a hey, Goomba. I love how you dance a rumba, but take some advice, paisano. Learn how to mambo. If you're gonna be a square, you ain't gonna go nowhere. Hey, Mambo, Mambo Italiano. Hey, Mambo, Mambo Italiano. Go, go, Joe. Shake it like a Giovanni. Hey, look, Dici with the happy in the feet. When you Mambo Italiano. Shake it, baby, shake it, 'cause I love it when you take a me. Mama said you stop her or I'm gonna tell your papa. Hey, Cadrula, you don't have to go to school. Just make it with a beat bambino. It's like a vino. Kid, you're good at looking, but you don't know what's cooking till you. Hey, Mambo, Mambo Italiano. Hey, Mambo, Mambo Italiano. Ho, ho, ho. You mixed up Sicilian. It's just so delicious. Everybody come capisce how to Mambo Italiano. That's nice. Mambo Italiano. I got choked up in the middle of that. I'm going to have a sip of my, sip of my water. I got a little tickle in my throat. All right, that's a good song. Doug tells me that we have a wonderful crowd of people watching tonight. I am so glad. It's nice to be back. I missed you guys while I was gone. I had a nice time in Provincetown, but every time Thursday rolled around, it's like, I'm not doing the live stream. I'm not singing for my buddies. So I'm glad I'm back here doing that. The next couple of songs are, well, the first one kind of was a hit for Rosemary Clooney in 1952. The second song was a song that she sang. I found a recording that she sang on the radio. It wasn't really a hit for Rosie, but it's a song that I've known for a long, long time. I forget where I first heard it, but it was a long time ago. I was very young when I first heard it. It's always kind of stuck in my head. So the first one was written by Curly Williams, and it was recorded in 1952 by Hank Williams on the country side and Rosemary Clooney on the pop side, and it was a #1 hit for Rosemary Clooney, and I like it. If you love me half as much as I love you, you wouldn't worry me half as much as you do. You're nice to me when there's no one else around. You only build me up to let me down. If you missed me half as much as I miss you, you wouldn't stay away half as much as you do. I know that I would never be this blue if you only loved me half as much as I love you. Take a star from out the sky, and the sky feels blue. Tear a petal from a rose, and the rose weeps too. Take your heart away from mine, and mine will surely break. My life is yours to take, so please keep the spark awake. Would you take the wings from birds so that they can't fly? Would you take the ocean's roar and leave just a sigh? All this your heart won't let you do. This is what I beg of you. Don't take your love from me. I beg of you, this your heart won't let you do. Don't take your love, don't take your love, don't take your love from me. Don't Take Your Love From Me. That was written by Henry Nemo, that very famous songwriter. And it's just one that I love, and I love that she recorded it. She recorded everything great. This next song is another one that wasn't like a hit song for Rosemary Clooney, but I love her version of it, and I just love this song. Any excuse to do this song, written in 1946 by Joseph Miro. I can't read my own writing, and Matt Gordon. You make me feel so young. You make me feel like spring has sprung. And every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy individual. The moment that you speak, I wanna go play hide and seek. I wanna go and bounce the moon just like a toy balloon. You and I are just like a couple of tots running across the meadow, picking up lots of forget-me-nots. You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, bells to be rung, and a wonderful fling to be flung. And even when I'm old and gray, I want to feel the way I do today, 'cause you make me feel so young. Just like a couple of tots running across the meadow, picking up lots of forget-me-nots. You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung, bells to be rung, and a wonderful fling to be flung. And even when I'm old and gray, I'm gonna feel the way I do today, 'cause you make me feel so, you make me feel so, you make me feel so young. You make me feel so young. I love that song. It just, you can't not be happy when you hear it. And certainly for me, when I play it, I'll drink to that. I'll drink to feeling young. So guys, next Thursday, when we would normally do the Billy's Place show, episode 62, I'm going to be out of town. But we thought, Doug and I, we're trying to plan around some of these Thursdays that are coming up that I won't be on live stream, and we're trying to figure out alternate dates. So we thought we would try this on Tuesday, 5 days from now. It gives us time to figure out the sound. On the 21st, Tuesday the 21st, we thought we would do a sort of pop-up Tuesday night version of Billy's Place. And what I really would like to do is sort of revisit a show I did a year ago, which was a tribute to one of my all-time favorites, Mel Torme. Mel Torme's birthday was Monday the 13th. And, you know, I think anytime's a good time to celebrate him. But I love those songs. If there's any Mel Torme songs in particular that you love, let me know through the comments section. Better is to write me on Facebook Messenger. But I'm going to do some of the things that I did a year ago. It just popped up. That was one of my earlier episodes. So next Tuesday at 8 o'clock on the 21st, revisiting Mel Torme. So I hope you'll tune in for that. Got a couple more songs to do for you tonight. But I want to, one more time, if you're able to send a virtual tip, certainly greatly appreciated. You can do that via PayPal or Venmo. I want to thank all of you who tip regularly. It is just so appreciated. You know, I write you all the time and tell you how much it means. And even though we're into a year and a half, it's like it always means so much to me. I never take it for granted. So thank you. If you're enjoying the show, please tell your friends to watch. Please go to YouTube, watch the older shows that you might have missed, and please follow me on Instagram. I'm going to close with two songs that are very associated with Rosemary Clooney. The first one is a song that I did back at Christmas. It's good for holidays, but it's really a good thought year-round. It's from White Christmas, 1954, written by Irving Berlin. And then I'll follow it up and close out with probably, well, one of her big, 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 big hits, also from 1954. Oh, before I sing that, I also want to give a special, special birthday shout out to my dear friend David Lawrence, who is married to my other dear friend Jackie Joseph Lawrence. David just celebrated a few days ago his 90th birthday and still going strong. David, I love you so much. I suspect that you guys might be watching either now or later. I love you and Jackie. I'm sending you a big hug and my best birthday wishes. And also, Happy New Year to all who celebrate. I know this is Happy New Year, so I do want to acknowledge that as well. I'm so glad you're with me tonight. This is words we can all remember and live by. When I'm worried and I can't sleep, I count my blessings instead of sheep, and I fall asleep counting my blessings. When my bankroll is getting small, I think of when I had none at all, and I fall asleep counting my blessings. I think about a nursery and I picture curly heads, and one by one I count them all as they slumber in their beds. So if you're worried and you can't sleep, count your blessings instead of sheep, and you'll fall asleep counting your blessings. I think about a nursery and I picture curly heads, and one by one I count them all as they slumber in their beds. So if you're worried and you can't sleep, count your blessings instead of sheep, and you'll fall asleep counting your blessings. Lately when I'm in my room all by myself, in the solitary gloom, I call to myself, Hey there, you with the stars in your eyes. Love never made a fool of you. You used to be too wise. Hey there, you on that high flying cloud. Though she won't throw a crumb to you, you think someday she'll come to you. Better forget her with her nose in the air. She has you dancing on a string. Break it and she won't care. Won't you take this advice I hand you like a brother? Or are you not seeing things too clear? Are you too much in love to hear? Is it all going in one ear and out the other? And out the other. Hey there, you with the stars in your eyes. Are you talking to me? Love never made a fool of you, not until now. You used to be too wise. Yes, I was once. Won't you take this advice I hand you like a brother? Or are you not seeing things too clear? Are you too far gone to hear? Is it all going in one ear and out the other? Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday, the 21st. Have a great weekend. Glad to be back. Love you.